Hello, everyone. Today is another episode of BioNexus Health Presents Autism Uprooted Podcast. And we will be speaking with Shree, who will speak to us about the recovery of her son, Vikram, from autism spectrum disorder. And, actually, little Vic has had a couple ups and downs with his recovery, especially when when the family moved from one state to another. So it is important to note what happens when there is re-exposure to any triggers for PANS or for any triggers for biotoxin illness. And Shree has, Shree is very articulate. She is very knowledgeable. She has researched deeply into various treatment options for autism. And today she will be speaking to us about her journey, the sawtooth recovery, the couple ups and downs that she has seen with Vic's health, with Vikram's health. So allow me to welcome Shree to today's podcast.
Welcome to the BioNexus Health Podcast with Dr. Jodie A. Dashore, who holds a PhD in integrative medicine, is board certified in integrative pediatrics, an internationally recognized pioneering clinician, and author. And now here's your host of BioNexus Health Podcast, Dr. Jodie A. Dashore.
So Shree, how are you today?
I'm good, Dr. Dashore. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. We have about 1 foot of snow here.
Oh, yeah, we have low temperature today, this is the lowest we have seen, 35,
Oh.
Yeah, 35 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wait a minute, 35 where you are? Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I've never heard of, 35 degrees that far down south.
Yes, yeah. This is the first time we are seeing 35 degrees.
Oh my goodness.
It's lowest so far.
Okay. So, thanks for joining me today for the podcast. And it's fine, I understand that you just moved to a new place and the Wi-Fi doesn't work too well. So at least we have audio. So that's good. So can you tell us, can you tell me how did you decide that you wanted to do a completely natural herbal protocol for Vic, and what brought you to BioNexus Health?
Actually, we know he was diagnosed when he was 2 years, with autism when he was 2. So we started with the biomedical treatment, and we started with diet, and also we have done few other therapies, but
Okay.
he was not making progress as we wish, significant progress. We have seen improvement in his, gut has improved a bit, and his eczema has completely gone with diet and other treatments, but
Okay.
he wasn't making significant progress with all the other treatments. So we were like, so there is something missing. Then I came across BioNexus Health in one of the podcast I heard, BioNexus podcast on YouTube. So then I thought, so if we try this, maybe we would. That's what is missing. Like, we haven't treated Lyme or pandas or molds.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that would be the treatment he would respond for. So that's how I started with. I heard about BioNexus you know, I uh, saw your podcast uh,
Yes,
in YouTube.
yes. See, I'm glad, many parents requested me, including practitioners, requested me to do a podcast series because just because of this, to be able to inspire other
Yes,
parents, yeah, to be able to inspire and give hope to other parents, as well as, the scientific basis of things as to many parents don't really think about anything else other than biomedical. In fact, many parents around the world don't even have access to that information that biomedical treatment can be tried for autism, because for most countries around the world, autism, there aren't many treatment options at all. It's just regarded
yes,
as
yeah.
all right. Yeah, you have it, and now that's it. Life sentence.
Yes, yeah, that's what his pediatrician told us.
Mm.
When we said like we want to try biomedical treatment, she said like I haven't seen any autism kid benefited from biomedical treatment. So yeah, you have to start living with it and all.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so sad that medical community is not helping these kids, but
Yes, but then, there are mothers like you and myself,
yes,
right?
mothers.
We love to do the research and go the extra mile to do whatever we can for our kids.
Yes, we don't, mothers that doesn't lose hope.
Exactly.
Keep
Yeah.
trying and
Yeah. I'm so happy that you mentioned diet, and that, something so simple. I mean, I know it requires hard work, but
yeah,
something that any mother can do
yes,
is to modify the diet. And you're saying that your initial research led you to modification of his diet. Can you tell us a little bit about the modification? I mean, it was gluten-free, dairy-free,
and also grain free. So
grain-free.
he needed very strict diet because
Yes.
when we started, like he was like his gut was a big mess, very big mess. So I also he was covered with eczema head to
Mm.
toe, and he was he used to scratch eczema until it bleeds. So I was like when I started uh, I I used to spend time on Google, like, almost 18 hours per day,
I remember. Yeah, yeah.
as much knowledge as, I was trying to read, as much as I could. And I was, joining all the groups and, you know, so trying to learn from other parents because I did not have any option. We went to MAPS doctor and also, or we started with
Mhm.
all the supplements that MAPS doctor had recommended that time. So and also I thought like he would definitely benefit from diet. So straight away I stopped grains and I started with all the veggies and then I slowly modified the diet also, like low oxalate diet and low sugar.
Low phenols. By any chance, did you also have to do low phenols?
Low phenols, I know. I try to, he did not have anything to eat. Like
Right, right,
everything has some kind. It's a phenolic, right? All the foods, lot of foods has
right.
phenols. So I did not uh, focus on phenols at first.
Okay.
So gradually, like I started with the no phenol, this enzyme
Oh, yes,
with
yes.
with
Excellent.
every
Yes.
meal.
Yeah,
So
that helps.
uh, that helped, and So basically, his diet was gluten-free, dairy-free, and grain-free.
Yes.
So till today, he has been, since we started diet since he was 2. So till today, he never ate any outside food or
All home
everything.
cooked. Okay, all home cooked, right?
Everything is
No.
home cooked, and everything is 100% organic.
See, that is amazing. It is absolutely doable. Now, Shree, you are from the Indian culture,
Yes,
right? And many people, I mean, for those watching, Indian as in from India, not Native American. So now, I do have several patients from Southeast Asia, and when you mention grain-free to them, it becomes like a huge dilemma.
oh
But
yeah,
yeah, it really,
because
I mean,
it's a staple for
exactly, exactly.
grains are, we eat it with every meal, grains.
Right, right. And it's not so much that the child needs a grain, like
Mm.
some kind of bread. I mean, you can make grain-free breads as well. But I remember for Brian, I used to do lots of vegetables,
Mhm.
uh, some chicken with gravy, or like grilled chicken breast. And then I used to give him one large baked sweet potato, or a large baked plantain, and that would be enough. It is so filling.
Yes,
Right?
filling, yes. But,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
initially it was hard. Actually, he was, I used to give him, gluten-free noodles and all, but
Uh-huh.
still, actually, as I said, like his gut was a huge mess because, we used to see um, undigested food in his bowels and all.
So
So,
wait, Shri, wait, sorry. So in spite of doing enzymes, you still used to see undigested food, right? With the grains?
yes, with the
Right.
grain.
Yeah, I've seen that with as I mentioned, I have several patients in Southeast Asia, and gut health. First of all, it is quite challenging to be 100% organic, but even if you cannot be 100% organic in your country, at least you can. The one thing you can make sure is you're not eating any fast food, and everything is home cooked, and all the non-organic vegetables, etc., are properly washed. But Shri, what's happening is that in spite of enzymes, in spite of gut treatments, if these parents are not able to go completely grain free, make that extra effort to go grain free, right?
Yes.
The gut is not improving, and the thing is, people, it becomes difficult to look slightly beyond your cultural preferences, that, oh, how can this child not eat bread? Well, okay, but it is not necessary, for a well-rounded diet. Now, your
Yeah,
son.
there are a lot of things, avocado is very filling, like
Yes.
avocado. He eats a lot of avocados.
Avocado is awesome. Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, your son is growing. It's not like he's not growing. He's growing. He has a good
Yeah,
appetite.
he's gaining weight, and he's
Yes.
aged, his height, weight, and everything
Yes.
is age appropriate. So yeah, it's not like, only if you eat grains or if you eat
Right.
a lot of sugary foods, or it
Right.
doesn't have to be like, there are some good foods, like I mentioned avocado, right? It's all good fat.
Exactly. Exactly. Awesome. I think with diet, you have been amazing. So, tell me, what symptoms did Vic have when you first came to me?
So as I said, like, we, with the diet and other treatments we did before we came to you. So his eczema cleared up, and we have seen some progress in other areas, but neurological symptoms did not improve much. So, cognitively or, focus. Uh, so his eczema completely cleared up, and some not significant progress we were seeing in neurological issues. So after we started BioNexus protocol, then we have seen significant progress. So his receptive language, everything we talk to him, 80% he understand and comprehend.
Wow.
So we have seen, he made some significant progress. So his hyperactivity completely gone. So he used to be very hyper, very, he could not sit at one place, for at least 5 minutes. Like, so his eye contact has improved. Like, he was, he started being so happy. And he started interacting with us, like, talking new words every day. So, he, after we started BioNexus protocol, so we have seen, lot of progress in almost all areas. His focus has improved, his memory, he used to know, it used to take a lot of time to teach him math earlier. Now, he understands very quickly whatever we teach him. So it doesn't take, much time for him to grasp. So he does his homework. He likes to do his homework. So he started being so happy. So it's all like, a lot of progress. So,
that is so wonderful to hear. He made cognitive progress, he made academic progress, language, 2 languages.
yes.
He also calmed down, his hyperactivity calmed down. He was able to settle and concentrate on his studies as well. He's growing in height and weight. It was interesting, because Shree, were you surprised with all of the labs that we had to run for him, and whatever you saw in the lab results? We saw a lot of problems with infections.
In spite of strict diet, with all these years, his gut is not 100%. As you know, like we have done some testing, so we have seen still he has a lot of infections.
Yes.
So gut healing is so hard. Though we know, though his diet is very clean and 100% organic, gut is hard to heal. That's what I feel.
Absolutely. When you have exposure to mycotoxins, when you have major infections like Lyme disease, Bartonella, Babesia, or ehrlichiosis, in children on the spectrum, first of all, when you're on the spectrum, and if you look at research with respect to children on the spectrum, it is quite clear some of the things that have already been scientifically evidence-based established is that there is immune dysfunction.
Yes.
Right, and there is a leaky gut. Now, this immune dysfunction gets further exacerbated if there are underlying medical issues as well, with the infections and toxins and environmental toxicity. So when you investigate and treat, each child gets their own labs, and once the lab results come back, as it was obvious to you as well, that the entire protocol was customized to Vic.
Yes.
So that makes a huge difference, because we look at genetics along with all of these other labs, and based on the detoxification capability of the child, it is important to customize the protocol to each child to see the kind of beautiful results that you have seen, right?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Now, one thing I wanted to discuss was biotoxin illness flare up and PANS flare up after re-exposure, right? So
Yeah.
you describe Vic made this beautiful recovery. He was a happy child. Aggression had gone, no behaviors. Academically, he was learning really well, cognitive gains. Now, after this, you guys decided to move, and after you moved to a fairly brand new construction, you saw some relapse.
Yes.
Okay.
After we moved, we did not know like new construction has mold, and also
Mhm.
we thought of testing before we made an offer, but like all of them I approached, they they said like they will do only A testing, which I know it's not accurate, only dust test, or just
Yes.
collecting dust and sending to lab. Testing dust is the only accurate way. So we approached a couple of mold testing companies. All they said was they do A testing. So I thought like, it's a new construction, probably, there will not be any mold. But that time, I did not know that micrometrics we can send, collect dust and send it overnight, and we can have the results in one day. But I did not aware about that time. So, but we were like, no, it was 2020 built, fairly new
Yes.
construction.
Yes.
So we thought like, mm, there would not be any. That's also like, the owner is a builder himself. He's into
Mhm.
construction. So we thought, the house looks like it's everything is built well, and everything, it's a quality construction. By seeing the house, like we thought, like, it's built well. So
Mhm.
somehow, like, after we moved, we had no big. Stopped making progress, and he backtracked. So I discussed with you, and we tested, and we found that it's a
There was a mold issue. Yeah,
there
yeah,
was an
exactly.
issue.
Yeah.
So like hyperactivity came back, with full force, aggression, and he's
Mm.
continuously laughing, giggling. He's in his own world, like, whatever progress he made, he did not lose all the progress he made, but with all this hyperactivity and you know, with this mold exposure, so he stopped talking, and he stopped interacting with us, and he's uh, a kind of in his own world. So he could not focus. We are not seeing any, we did not see any new progress after we moved.
After you moved, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. That is, that is heartbreaking, but it does happen. What happens is once you start treatment and the immune system is aware and activated, when
Mm.
there is re-exposure, research shows that it is the sicker, faster, longer syndrome, unfortunately. So that is what you saw when things uh, did not work out for Vic, with the
Mm.
environmental toxicity. This reminds me, there's one mom, I think in the UK, she is an immigrant in the UK, and she was planning to go back to her native country. And, this is the email I got, Shree. Okay, the meaning, this was a message which was sent that can you please ask Dr. Dashore that we are about to travel to our native place, and there is going to be a guaranteed mold exposure to my son. What medicines do you recommend? I was quite shocked, honestly, and I was very, very sad. And I believe this mom is again, highly educated and quite aware what mold exposure can do, but maybe not quite as aware as I thought she was. And we had to urgently counsel her that please don't. I hope she listened. I don't know, exactly what the circumstances were, but I hope that this, is helpful to many parents watching who have questions about what happens with re-exposure. It is very unfortunate because sometimes,
He's very quick. He's back. We see like something is wrong. Something,
Yeah.
we made out like, after we moved, as soon as we moved, something was wrong. So he was, he was a happy child. He made a lot of progress, but something was really, I did not think about mold.
Yes.
We stayed for a couple of days in the vacation home. We saw there was mold everywhere in that house. Maybe that the re-exposure happened that, at that house. Not we did not think, because there was not visible mold in our new place.
Right.
So I could not really, until we tested, I did not think that our house has mold issues.
That is true. Sometimes you cannot see it. Sometimes it is in your HVAC system.
Yeah.
It is inside the air conditioning. I've heard so many episodes of that from all kinds of air conditioning. The window units, the central air can be a major factor because of moisture and mold. Mold growing because of the moisture, especially in the warmer climates.
Yes.
That seems to be the key. But yes, when you're re-exposed to any trigger for biotoxin illness or any trigger for PANS, unfortunately, all of the symptoms do come back. But I'm glad you guys are back on track now, right? With the remediation and
yes.
Right.
Yeah, thank you so much for guiding through our mold inspection. So without your help, like we our whole house was pretty clean, right? So
Yes.
we are new to this process. So thank you so much for your guidance.
Absolutely. No. It's been a privilege being able to help your family, and I'm so happy. I was so happy to see Vic's progress, and especially when you told me that we went on vacation. He did fantastic. There were no behaviors. He's playing on the beach in the sand in the water with no sensory issues. So I'm pretty sure even though you have hit a little bit of a roadblock, we did some additional testing, so now we know exactly where his levels are with respect to exposure. His protocol has been further customized for him, and before long you will be done with the remediation process as well, right? You have the right people helping you. So Vic will be fine. I don't want you to worry too much, but now you know what re-exposure can do.
Yes, my mom was here. My mom was like, every day, seeing his progress. She was so happy. She saw him earlier, not able to sit at one place for a long time, for at least 5 minutes. Now he's, 16 hours we drove down, and he was like, 8 hours straight. He sat in the car without any fuss or without any problem. So my mom was so happy, and she was like, constantly telling us, see how happy he is, how how much progress he is making every day. She was like, if new person see him after a long time, they notice a lot of
Right.
being with him every day, we don't notice that much. So my mom was like, this I'm seeing new child, and he's so good, he's so good. Then she was, after we moved to new place, she was like, what happened to this
Right.
child? She was, he was so happy, so good. Now what happened? And day by day, like, his hyperactivity is,
Yes.
we did not know that time he's re-exposed to mold. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, the brain inflammation comes right back, right? Because mycotoxin exposure causes that cytokine storm. That's
Yes.
right. Yeah, yeah. It is, one important thing to note is when you do, just like you did for Vic, when you do a customized herbal protocol, the gains don't really go away even with re-exposure. You may see some symptoms come back, but he is not going to lose the gains that he made once the inflammation in the brain calms down once again, and it will, right? Because he's
Yes.
back on the full protocol. So all of those gains will come right back. It's not like you're starting from scratch, not at all. It's just that it's like a blip. Once the inflammation comes in, you cannot see the progress that he made anymore. And once that inflammation calms right back down, then you'll see everything that you saw before this flare up.
Glad to hear that. I hope like once exposure ends, we see, I think, progress again.
Yes, so the exposure has to be remediated. After that, you have to give his body time to detoxify. And the fact that his body is now used to efficient detoxification, I'm pretty sure he should be okay, as soon as his body is able to detoxify all of the toxins. Same thing happens when a child is exposed to any kind of infections again. For example, it could be mom or dad who get cough, cold, flu,
Yes.
and right. And even though mom and dad get better because they have a mature, stronger immune system, the child on the spectrum, especially if on the spectrum, is not able to recover that quickly, and that becomes that counts as an exposure as well, because exposure can be to mold, mycotoxins, but it can also be to infections.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, like you said, like he did not lose all the progress. So
Right. Right. In fact, it is also, remember, I was guiding you with the new furniture, new car purchase as well, because there was another child in my practice that, it is so stressful having a child on the spectrum that is, that is recovering. And this child was very, very sensitive, exposed to mold for many years. So he had developed, multiple chemical sensitivity. So we had to proceed with treatment slowly. So poor mom was struggling with the diet and with the protocol, but she was seeing little progress. And then she saw good progress. And then one day dad went and bought a new car. And this child loved to go for car rides, like, many of our kids do, kind of helps to settle them down. And this was 2.5 hours exposure to this car. Like, I don't want to take names, but it was a complete electric car. So you can imagine, Shree, that was a big EMF bomb.
yes, EMF, right.
a big EMF bomb, as well as the new car smell toxins, which he was exposed to, and it took this child 3 months to recover. I mean, the aggression, the screaming, the headaches, the body aches, everything came back, and it was quite a dramatic flare-up for this child. And it took 3 months to calm him down. And now, oh my gosh, I mean, he's made phenomenal progress with his language, with his academics, with in fact, mom has joined one of the groups, and I have had the good fortune of hearing from other members of the group, how she has been informing them that to either contact BioNexus or to ask their local practitioner to look into all these issues for their child, and treat, because recovery is certainly possible. I mean, no one's saying that autism is curable, but recovery from so many symptoms is most certainly possible.
Yes, yeah, we have seen great progress.
Yeah.
Recovery is definitely, I think, possible.
Yes, right. You just need knowledge, research, and patience.
Yes.
Right. I agree. Yeah, exactly. All right, Shree. So what would you say to the mothers of children on the spectrum, watching the podcast?
I would say don't lose hope. Try. And if you keep trying, you will not lose anything. All you would see is you would be helping your child recover and gaining good health, and day by day they get better. So don't give up and don't lose your hope. So if you keep trying, so definitely there is a chance.
Well, yes, absolutely. Very well said, Shree. Yes, I want to tell you one little incident. Did you know that many parents across the world think that fast food fries, right? Again, I'm not taking names, but I think you understand what I'm talking about.
Vic used to eat before we started with diet. Vic used to eat every day. He wanted fries.
Yeah, and if people actually think that those fries are literally just potatoes and oil. That is such a mistake. There are 14 to 16 chemicals in those fries before it's fried, and we don't know in what kind of disgusting oil it's fried. Then they use table salt, which contains heavy metals. Yeah, it is. The basic information like this is not available to parents. And they say, well, it's just fries, and we are able to go out to eat. Instead of being home all the time with a child who's on the spectrum, we are able to go out and, it's just potatoes. It's not gluten. It's not dairy. Oh my gosh, you are putting so many chemicals into your child's body.
Oh yeah, and that's while recovering your child, not only the child is benefited, your whole family will get benefited. You learn a lot of things. About food, a lot of things, how, what are there in fast foods, and a lot of preservatives, a lot of chemicals, a lot of, if you cook, we hardly eat outside, never, like, not only Vic, entire family, we prefer homemade food all the time. And not only he is benefited, or entire family is benefited. We have seen a lot of improvements in our rest of the family members have seen a lot of improvements, eating good diet and staying away from these fast foods and all this stuff.
Yes, I'm not surprised. Yes, almost every family who adheres to the diet reports that, because the best way of making sure that the child is compliant with the diet is don't buy anything else.
Yes.
Just try to incorporate that same diet for the entire family, so there's no temptations, but I know that's not easy to do for
Yes, it's a lot of work.
family.
I do agree, everything home cooking,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of effort and
Yes.
dedication.
Well, if you are looking to improve from a diagnosis that you've been told there is no hope at all, this is it, this is for life, you have to deal with it. If you're trying to improve from something like this, if you're trying to improve, from autoimmune conditions like PANS, and if you're trying to do that only with plant-based, completely natural herbal protocols, you have to put the effort. Right.
Yes.
Otherwise, there's no magic wand which you can wave and say, okay, just do this for a couple of months and you'll have a whole new child. That won't happen.
Yeah, like I said, we needed a strict diet.
Yes.
So, for his gut, otherwise, we wouldn't, at least, it wouldn't have been in like it is right now without diet.
Yes, and Shree, one thing I have to say is that because you were used to the strict diet, you were also very strict with the BioNexus protocol, which is fantastic. If anything was to be done twice, it was done, 3 times it was done, and which is why you saw such dramatic improvements, because plant-based has to be done at the right dosage and frequency.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wonderful. Well, thank you so very much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for helping me, Dr. Dashore. So, thank you.
Absolutely. That brings us to the end of today's episode. Shree has just moved to the new house, and the Wi-Fi was a bit iffy, so we weren't able to get a good video. But I think the information that we were able to obtain from Shree's interview is quite valuable for many parents of children on the spectrum watching out there. So I'm really glad that we were able to conduct the interview, even though it was audio only. I hope it's been helpful, and I look forward to seeing you at the next episode of Autism Uprooted with BioNexus Health Podcast series. All right, so enjoy your day. I'll see you back here soon. Namaste.
Thank you for joining Master Herbalist Dr. Jodie A. Dashore, Director of the BioNexus Health Clinic and BioNexus Herbals, on the BioNexus Health Podcast, where we explore and share information and stories about recovering and healing from chronic and environmental illnesses such as mold biotoxin illness, Lyme disease, autism spectrum disorder, fatigue, Crohn's and colitis, mast cell activation syndrome, PANS, and more. Please help us grow our message by subscribing to our podcast channel and sharing the podcast on your social networks. For more information, visit bionexushealth.com.
Information within this video, audio, or text, collectively known as the podcast, has not been reviewed by the FDA. Nothing within the podcast is intended as or should be construed as medical advice. Information is for general informational and educational purposes only. Consumers of the podcast should consult with their healthcare practitioners for medical recommendations. Seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider. Do not disregard the advice of a healthcare provider based on any information from the podcast. The information within the podcast may contain information concerning dietary supplements or over-the-counter products that are not drugged. Our dietary supplement products are not intended for use as a means to cure, treat, prevent, diagnose, or mitigate any disease or other medical or abnormal condition.